I became a coach player.
And quale Sunday, Mafia clock, where Danike, Mafia clock a galley, Nipaposto, when Yafuni take a boboli, Yafo local few Nika, Bobon was ye.
No Nwaka, Nagbe, some of you by Miniba.
Oh, Messi Bay, I can hear your yake into machine bammy or local fee. Oh, local tobacco, my name into machine.
Ma often a bow and tower lager or you.
Oh, fine. And I was on get shift of Lengelengeko. A year won't know me, will expect you fine. Nintel 7 is J. No go by here fine. She may go make a poison, only tree but for few. She know me. It can go Europe and get poison go.
Coaching is putting your thinking into action. That is all what coaching is about. Now, I studied them, I showed them, I revisited the match they played against us. Then I saw that we gave them enough space to operate because they are full of techniques. The boys, the 14, 20, 10, 8, 12. Very, very with the ball when you give them space. So we try something called tracking and getting free. Track them, get free and play. So we deny them the space for them to maneuver.
In terms of power play, it's zilch. If you watch our game against Mali, the young man was running away from taking the ball. He didn't want it. Give me away. He was practically running away. He was running away when we were being marooned and we were under attack from the Malians, and he had the opportunity of staking a claim in the team. Anytime an attempt was made to him with the ball, with the pass,
He's running away.
He's running away, leaving the ball,
Hiding
behind opponent. This whole Telemundo, it's something that sometimes
for the uninitiated, Telemundo is a channel that shows telenovelas.
Yes.
So this is like a soap opera.
It's like a soap opera. This clearly is a soap opera. It's winding down. So let's call Extremadura man from Extremadura man. Mama, when the boy is coming to the player, he's running away. You know what's the game? And shockingly, there's a certain miraculous acrobatism.
Number said, Master son players are cooked about Mamma Tim Master. Players a better Master son. Tim and I shit. Tip would have been players in the mammy. Sakim CH. Where? Sakim CH. Aha. Timo Verna. What's it I? Timo Verna. Aha. Caves. Why? Caves. Caves me. I saw him. Is a sister circulator, woman of more. Sister circulator only more. A year, I must say a Brazil anyway. Ya sign on. Brazil anyway. Almost one said Silver. So I Silver. Aha. Tiago Silver. Is a
me the Felix you on against stand. My son be say, me Adamu, I don't need my job, go marry. No, you see, I don't need my job, go marry.
So you refuse to punish him?
They're not the punishment, it serves you right. No, not the punishment. See, you choose love over job. That is exactly what you do. Because, see what Arteta go do. Football no day, Arteta go marry.
Yeah.
So if the footballer, see, from August 2019 to December 29, we don't play football. No marry. We start late after we fall. He said they go marry.
That be the time where money catch.
No. So you choose love over career. And so if today you get your lover, the coach say they give you more time to go chop love. So it's not a big deal. Me, I guess that I thought this matter.
Does Don Bote still want to play football? You are 36 years old.
Forget about the age.
We cannot forget about the age, Don. You are 36.
Yeah, 36. You doubt 36. Me, forget about the age. What you want me to come and do for you?
You still think you can perform at the highest level?
Why?
In Ghana?
Yeah. Not in Ghana, sir.
Anywhere?
Yeah.
You train?
Serious.
By yourself?
Always.
Why don't you want to join a club and train?
You see, that's what I'm saying. Them themselves, they don't believe themselves. The coaches don't believe themselves. They are not real coaches. They don't. You have to believe yourself that no, this guy can do it for me. If you believe me, I can do it. But so far as you just relax yourself, no, if I come safe, I won't get that spirit because you don't believe me.
So you think that if a Premier League team were to give you an opportunity to play, you would make an impact?
Ghana, yeah.
Yes.
I can play past all the current players. The current players in Ghana Premier League.
That's a serious statement coming from somebody who hasn't played in almost a year.
You know something? I know myself. That's why I said, if you don't know me, you don't know me.
You see, as for a game, like when you get a chance, every blessed player will decide to score, and then to decide to catch the ball. So when you both decide together, then you miss the chance. I decide differently, and he also decide differently, and our decision was together. That's why he was able to catch the ball. So I think next time I'll raise my head and watch the goal post and put the ball.
You have 3 or 4 phones. What messages have you been receiving?
I haven't read them because they keep on coming. They keep on coming. I think that I have to turn one of the phone off.
You haven't read any of them? Messages?
No, not at all. Look, they still calling. They still calling. Phones are calling.
Welcome and welcome again to our humble abode. Sports Panorama, Benjamin Nketia here. We are live. What a week it's been. Shall it be it like just trouble on the London side of things? Be it north, be it west. Yeah, Charlie. The West London people say that they are coming for Coach Nimley and Nathan Kwao as head coach and assistant. Yeah, the people from West London. We'll be talking about Chelsea and their search for a new coach. Somebody was asking me if it was capable or it was possible for Chelsea to sack Lampard as an interim coach again. Oh.
They stuck Stellini, so anything is possible.
Anything is possible. So proudly brought to us by Shell, Betway, and Good Day Energy Drink. We'll get into that Chelsea search for a new coach. Mauricio Pochettino is expected to be named very soon, according to the reports. What do Chelsea fans make of this? Chelsea fans, let me hear from you. How do you feel about Poch coaching your team? Remember, Poch was at Tottenham from 2014 to 2019, and then he moved on to PSG, and so he's become available again. They say they are looking into it. We will analyze Arsenal's title collapse, or what looks like a title collapse. Remember that it's not conclusive yet. It's football. A lot can happen. I'm not saying a lot will happen. I'm saying a lot can happen. Manchester City look like they are in the driver's seat now. Arsenal fans, sincerely tell me, is your title chase over? You think you killed that title chase with that defeat to Man City? Who is responsible for the collapse? And then on the transfer side of things, still Premier League related, 3 clubs looking at signing Joseph Paintsil. So those are the reports this week. Brighton, Brentford, and Fulham have popped up. We'll be discussing that here. Mohamed Kudus is again being connected with a move to the Premiership. This time it's the transfer guru Fabrizio Romano. He says there's a lot of activity around Kudus as we speak. All that and more to come on the show. Nathan Kwao is here. Susu Graham is here. El Pichi. Evans Ofochumanso Pichichi is here. And then, of course, the rabbi. For Charlie at the Cosmopolitan, everybody was, where is the rabbi? Where is Coach? Where is... He's here. Rabbi, today, your prayers must encapsulate something for Lampard.
It's very important.
Something for Arteta.
It's very important. And today is the D-Day.
Thank you, Numo. Go
today is the D-Day.
Thank you.
Please
descend into your holy realms.
We need to hold hands and make the prayer very connecting.
We need to hold hands.
Hold hands.
Thank you.
Hold hands.
Thank you.
When it's so new masoa now masoa, you are about. You are about. Wakopele acho machele aba. Oh no ba le oba. Ghana mamu fembo wotwe. Efia ewo. Chite bi eyo. Higbele mo bi eyo. Sanjine abanya yue bi na anya yue efia ye bi ayo. Okay. Okay, shida humble. Amen. You are Jomo Lampard. Shagbele here she mole na. Wow, you are Zimbabwe. He's a legend of the club.
A legend.
You are Jomo le legend. Extra 5, e lose 5. Na shell hane win ko. You are ne win ko. One top fire yesu gba mo ke Lampard hane win ko. Ateta and coach to my trachiche kule kofisa langa chachachi langa alileku alile. Many ateta fio. Many cheche kule fio. Ake coach money cup mo ye no awo cup. Oto coach cheche kule. Oh Yehovah. Waka atata. Bele mo ngbe mi. Kyo kase ko ni otanko ya pep je ni chombo ni. Yowa meneji D-Day. Meneji D-Day. Glazer say wo hanye wo ni. Kenya be Kenya UK. Kenya le. Atani bid ne ke ba enagbe. Bid na atani. Jasim ke ba enagbe. Man yuele ahon ke mijile. Be a name wa ya tabo de no minke ne tankwa board members. What be no more board members you. And I Sheikh Atani Jasim. What be no more. Yoba. Jomo program ne. No wo program no. If be no wo no kaya. Ene can be p what that wish. Ya yesu ba me. Amen.
Amen. What a powerful prayer. The rabbi has set the tone. Big shout outs to the people at the Cosmopolitan for hosting us on that road show. Let's get into talk of that game. I mean, it's a part of the conversation, but I want to highlight what looks like a title collapse by Arsenal in the last 6 games. And I saw a stat this morning that had me reeling a little. It says that Arsenal have conceded 21% of their goals in the last 6 matches they've played. 21%. So it looks like a team that was having a really good run, and then all of a sudden it has plummeted. Let me start to use Susu, then I'll get coach's perspective on the tactical breakdown of that game. You put up a statistical piece on the game that we saw on Wednesday. Brilliant piece, I must say. If you haven't seen it, I still think it's worth seeing, even though the game is over. But what's to account for Arsenal's collapse? 2-2 draw with West Ham, draw with Liverpool, draw with Southampton. I think that's the one that shocked me the most. And I've been speaking to a lot of Arsenal fans. You know, it was a lot of, oh, we don't want to say we are going to win the title now. That was 2-3 weeks ago. Now the narrative has completely changed to, I think we've lost the title. Arsenal fans have admitted it to me. I was even giving somebody hope. I said, oh, there's still a lot of football to be played. He says, that is just an excuse. We all know in our hearts that we've lost the title. Who is to blame for this title collapse?
You said in their last 6 games, they conceded 21% of their goals. It's very simple. In the last 6 games, Rob Holding has started. It's not entirely his fault, but if you have a more limited defender, you have to do more to cover him. And this is, coach has mentioned is that Thomas Partey is having to play a bit deeper, having to do a bit more work because Rob Holding, they have to play a bit deeper because of Rob Holding. Their defensive line can be as high as possible, as high as they have played previously. So the press is not as compact. Thomas Partey has to cover a bit more space. You can get a bit closer to the other midfielders, and the chemistry is not as good. It's not Rob Holding's fault. But if you lack a certain amount of pace and they are trying to protect you, there are going to be implications down the line. And that's the thing. If you're a team that relies on high pressing, because if you look at the tackles in the final third, I believe Arsenal are in the top 3. I'll have to check that. It's one of the features of their game. They're a high pressing team. And it's interesting because if you look at tackles, they are not in the top. They are probably in the bottom 5 for tackles. But tackles in the final third, they're in the top 3. So that should tell you how they kind of compress the pitch and make it difficult for other teams to play. Now, if you have Rob Holding who lacks pace and you need to protect him, you drop a bit deeper. So your press is a bit less effective. Teams can play through you a bit more easily. And that's the kind of the reason why some of these things have happened. The second thing is, I think because he's not as composed on the ball, even when they are under pressure, the kind of way that Saliba can win the ball back, play a pass to his teammates, because Saliba is in the top 5 for is it top 5 or top 6 for pass completion in the league? He's very high. It's about 91%. So he's a very tidy passer of the ball. You have Rob Holding who's not as tidy with the ball, not as composed. So when you're under pressure and teams are coming at you, even the ability to kind of get the ball, play the pass, and keep possession, because as Pep used to say, there's a 3-second rule. If you win the ball back.
In fact, let me just give you more Arsenal on the Saliba thing we're going on about. So his 91% pass completion is 6th in the league. 83% tackle success when players attempt to dribble him is the highest of any player who has faced at least 3 attempts for the club. Now, again, he has the 3rd most interceptions at the club, 2nd most clearances and recoveries, showing basically his importance to the Arsenal side.
So, yeah.
Basically, top 3, top 4, everything.
Yeah, so they've lost their best defender. That was always going to be a problem. But I'm just saying, when you look at even just keeping the ball, because Rob Holding is not as good on the ball, sometimes some situations you boom the ball forward. And it means now the other team can come back at you because you've lost the ball. Because they said, if you're able to keep the ball for 3 seconds after winning it, it's much more difficult for the other team to get the ball, which is why at their peak, when Barcelona were pressing, he told the players that don't let the other team have the ball for 3 seconds after you lose it. Because that 3 seconds is the key to getting the ball back. All those little things means you are facing a few more attacks a game. You are playing a bit deeper, so Partey is doing more work. Those tiny details, they make a difference at the highest level. So some of the games, I think that might have been what contributed. Some other games, I think the Southampton game, they were just careless. Because I think they started on the wrong foot once Ramsdale gave that ball away. So once you start on the wrong foot and you consider you are chasing the game and you are finding it difficult to get into the game, that game, I will blame Gabriel Jesus in the sense that if he had finished some of his chances better, they scored the second goal a bit earlier, make it 3-2 earlier, because they're able to score 2 goals very quickly in the 85th and 87th, something like that. Some of those things, it's just how it is. But I think the defense has struggled a bit more without Saliba. And it's not anyone's fault, because Rob Holding was probably 4th choice. If Tomiyasu was fit, Tomiyasu probably goes into right back and Ben White moves back into centre back like they played last season. And they were fine for most of last season. So I think it's just an unfortunate situation that Holding has been put in such a position of importance at this stage of the season.
Well, but let me add a very small point here. I think that Arsenal were just too predictable at a point in time for a manager who loved his 4-3-3. I think it got to a point where we all knew what Arsenal would do in any game. We knew the sort of lineup Arteta would field. We knew his substitutions. Even when things were not going right, we knew who he was going to bring. It was always Trossard in for Martinelli. It was so obvious that Arteta had a plan A and there was no plan B. And also, when you are playing against top managers in the English Premier League, you don't expect to do the same thing all season. You don't expect to have this one formation all season. Obviously, they are going to watch you week in, week out. They're going to map up strategies to try and counter your formation. And that was when you expected Arteta to have something extra. And at that moment, he failed Arsenal. He made them realize that, yes, he has that plan A, but there was no option aside that. And I think in games against West Ham, where they took a 2-0 lead, that's when I felt that earlier he had done the same thing at Liverpool. So this was the moment where he needed to let the players understand that, see, we've been here before at Anfield. Control your emotions, control your nerves. Let's manage this game better and move on. But clearly, when they needed him so badly to try and manage the players, I think psychologically, they're not there. You know, when they get into that moment where you expect them to put up a fight or their manager to just help them rally as a team, clearly Arteta himself, you watch him on the touchline sometimes and you realize that he himself needs someone to lift him up as a manager. Yes.
But I also want to be fair to Arsenal. This is the youngest squad in the league as we speak.
24, average age of 24.
So it's not a surprise that they are not mentally there yet. And they have those lapses.
So
those come with experience and
exactly.
time.
It ended into the thought of they having a very inexperienced team. I think this is their first major title challenge in a long while. It was always Liverpool, Man City in recent times until out of the blue, we had Arsenal also setting in to try and fight for the title. I think before the season started, no Arsenal fan at this point thought they would be title contenders. So here they are. They didn't expect. I think the top four was their ambition. But out of the top four was what they were looking at. And then here they are. There's a title to fight for against Manchester City.
Do you want us to pull receipts?
Do you want
Like
us
somebody
to
people said things like
at the start of the season,
it's lonely at the top.
No, but when you're at the top, you have to enjoy it.
That was
But
when they had the 8 point
you
gap.
have to enjoy it. But let's be honest.
When they had the
at
8
the
point
beginning
gap,
of
but
the
at the
season,
beginning of the season, I can say Arsenal fans didn't really have the confidence that they were going for the title.
That's true. Even at 8 points on top of the table, they couldn't. I always used to.
They were torn apart. Some felt yes.
It's one of my favorite things to do this season. When I meet my favorite Arsenal
Then you
people,
ask them.
shout out to Kokui, I ask her, say it with your chest, are you going to win the title? Oh, you know what? Are you winning the title? Shout out to my CEO, Mr. Samuel Atamensa. Charlie, he told me point blank before the Wednesday game that I am not watching the game. Neither will I listen to radio commentary on this game. So there's that. There's always been that doubt in the mix. Let me talk to us about that. Yes, I was asking about Partey.
Emotions. We'll get to the game, and I'll make a few points.
So inexperience and all that. Wrapping up. So in summary, I think Arteta has to take some blame. The players and their inexperience also has to be accounted for as part of their woes, and then the fans themselves, those who doubted the team. Yes, because I think sometimes you need the whole team backing the players. I think there was so many doubts, and it got to the players at a point in time. That's my point.
Nathan,
I'm going to read you something Mikel Antonio said, and it corroborates something Thierry Henry said last week or 2 weeks ago in the Champions League when he was asked about Arsenal. And he said something. Thierry Henry said, Arsenal should not, he says the players should not become emotional. There are emotions surrounding this title hunt and everything. But they should not become emotional, because the moment you become emotional, you will lose your head. You start getting overexcited, either that, or you start getting afraid. Either way, you will lose your way. Let me read you a quote from Mikel Antonio. He was speaking on the Footballers Football podcast. He says, quote, I've heard this from someone who works at Arsenal. All season, they've been concentrating on themselves, playing how they play, end quote. Then he says something. Last week, when they drew with Liverpool and City got a bit closer, it was the first time all season that this person heard players start talking about City and how City have been playing. They are definitely feeling the pressure from City chasing them. End quote. This is from Mikel Antonio. From his insider
information. Hold your thoughts there. I have the Honorable Sam Jata George on the line. Now, I have him on the line not just because he's an Arsenal fan. He is a dues-paying member of Arsenal. Honorable, good evening and welcome to Sports Panorama.
Good evening to you, the team and listeners.
Nice one. How have you been feeling these past couple of weeks? I've actually been curious to pick your thoughts. So, drop points against West Ham, drop points against Liverpool, drop points against Southampton. Are you one of those that felt that the title slipped away even before the City game, or you feel that your coffin was nailed on Wednesday?
Well, let me start by saying that
I am extremely proud of the Arsenal team. Because like was just said in the studio, at the beginning of this season, my biggest ambition and hope was to make Champions League and be in the top 4. That was the dream. And it's called a dream because it was literally wishful thinking. At the beginning of the season, we had the youngest team. Now we have the second youngest team in the league because of the arrival of Jorginho and Leandro Trossard. But for me, I think that the age of the team and the loss of Saliba really did cost us the chance to have lifted this trophy. I think that we lost the league title before we went to City. I'd always had it at the back of my mind. I told my 8-year-old son, who was very emotional on Wednesday, I told him, I said, look, we're going to lose this game. Prepare yourself for it. Because, the form that City is in
But hold on. Did you watch the game yourself? Did you watch it?
Oh, yeah, I watched with him. But I watched it. Okay. I watched it without any heart or any feeling in it because I knew we were going to lose. The team is psychologically out. Look, the team lost any belief in the ability of the team to lift the trophy when Bukayo Saka missed that penalty at 2-1 against West Ham. That was when the heads of the boys just dropped. But look, as far as I'm concerned, we didn't lose the league just now. We lost the league on the 4th of February. When we lost to Everton.
Wow. That's way
3
back.
That's 3 points that we should never have lost. And at that time, Everton was literally bottom of the table on the 4th of April. And then we went and played against Brentford in the Emirates and drew 1-1, where VAR, for some reason, said he forgot to draw the line. You remember?
Yep.
We dropped 2 points there. In the space of 7 days, we dropped 5 points. Now, if you add those 5 points to where we sit today, we will still have had a big shout in this league. Then we came back to our winning ways. I'm not going to talk about the 3-1 loss to City at Emirates. That was known to happen. The City team is arguably one of the finest teams in the league today. But we dropped 5 points in February that we should never have dropped. And then came the challenges with Liverpool. I thought we should have won that game. We had a fantastic first half and we had a shitty second half. We managed to hold 1 point. I don't mind losing 2 points there. But then explain to me how we dropped 4 points against West Ham and Southampton. If you add those 4 points to the 5 points we dropped in February, we'll clearly still have had 9 solid points where the loss to Man City would have been inconsequential. These are games we cannot explain our losing. West Ham is a team we should beat any day. Southampton is a team we should beat any day. The Everton game, we should have won it. Brentford, we should have won it. Those 4 games cost us the league.
Does Arteta take any blame for any of these things? Is this inexperience? What would you put these draws or these drop points down to?
You see, it's easy to blame Arteta, and I heard one of the gentlemen in the studio talk about no plan B. A coach can only have a plan B when he has a squad in depth. Pep has plan B because Pep can field another 11 players that are stronger than half of the rest of the league. What's Arsenal's situation? You see, the team was built to compete for the top 4. And so the squad in depth you have is literally supposed to be able to scrape you through to the top 4. Ask yourself, Jorginho, is he the best choice we could have bought in January? I think that even in the goalkeeping department, we have one of the finest goalkeepers in the league right now in form, but Ramsdale has become complacent. He knows there is really no challenge to Ramsdale in the team. And you saw that with the Southampton game. He's become very, very careless because he knows that week in, week out, he's going to make the team. You need to have a real challenger for Aaron Ramsdale in goal to make sure he's always on top of his game. The defensive position, look, Saliba for me has been like the revelation of the season. I'm happy that Mikel brought him back from loan, had faith in him. But the question is, who else is our world-class cover? You've got two defenders. Gabriel Magalhaes is a solid defender, but he's only solid when he's got a solid partner. When you leave Gabriel without a solid partner, you begin to see his weaknesses. You begin to see the chinks in his armor. And that's what we've seen with because you see, Arsenal literally plays a 3-back formation. Yeah, we play 4-3-3. But you have Zinchenko, who is barely, hardly ever in the box or down there at left back. Zinchenko is really an inverted forward. He's a decoy, most times playing in the center of the pack or playing even up front as a false nine. So you have Gabriel having to cover both the left back position and then having to deal with center back challenges of a very poorly mobile Rob Holding. And so we need to have we need to have a challenge for the goalkeeper. We need to have a world-class center defender coming. And we certainly do need a box attacker, someone who stays in the box. I mean, most of the time, Gabriel Jesus touches the ball more times outside the box than inside of the box. You don't have a real finisher of the ball in the team. You know, a Ruud van Nistelrooy kind of striker, a Dimitar Berbatov kind of striker, someone who's in that box.
Nice one.
You know, and so we became extremely predictable. You knew, like you said, the substitutions that will be made. You knew that Saka will get the ball. He's going to beat you man for man. And when he beats you man for man, he's going to switch it onto that swift left foot and curl it in. So what did they start doing? They started putting 2 players on him. I mean, and literally we have overworked Saka this season. We really have overworked the young man this season, you know. And so he's had to carry so much. I mean, these are 21-year-old, 23-year-olds, and 23-year-olds. And so I'm extremely proud of the team. We will end in second position. I mean,
I don't believe you are throwing in the towel already.
Oh no, I'm a realist. I mean,
I like that.
I'm a realist. I've got selections in 2 weeks. You think I'm going to be fooling myself if I didn't know I was going to win?
That is interesting. But
I mean,
honorable.
For someone who is in the craft I'm in, you must be able to tell yourself the truth. I mean, why should I deceive myself that City is going to drop 6 points? Where? Who?
I like that. You sounded stoic in your analysis so far. Are you telling us that none of your fufu hasn't gone bad in this bad spell? You haven't punched a wall in this bad spell?
You see, for me, I am a man who is content with small blessings. The mere fact that I can bend down and visualize what I'm talking about. Visualize it. I wish I was in the studio, but visualize it.
Yeah.
I can bend down and put my head in between my legs and look behind me and see Manchester United so far back. The fact that I can climb the tallest Iroko tree in Ghana.
Coach Nimley is shaking his head at you. He's shaking. He can't believe you had to go there.
Oh, Father, look. I say when I bend down and look behind me, I see in the far distance with perspective Manchester United struggling with the likes of Newcastle and Tottenham over who will be fourth or fifth. And then as for Chelsea, even when I climb the top of Villaggio, I can't see them.
Coach will say a few words. He has a few words to tell you before we go. Just hang in there for him.
Honorable, we wish you the very best. We wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Take heart, and we are all supporting you. 2 weeks from now, after your overwhelming victory, we will meet you in person and celebrate together with you. Unbelievable.
Thank you very much. Honorable Sam Jatajo, thank you very much. Charlie, the man doesn't just pay the dues to the club. He knows his club. He watches his club. Yeah. I like that analysis of his team so far. Again, apologies for a not so radio friendly word used while he was in his analysis. But love it from Sam Honorable Sam Jata. They say he's a realist, and the title is gone.
Well, you have to. You know, I go back and I remember I tweeted after Liverpool held Arsenal, they drew 2-2, whatever, and I asked that was that draw fatal? I said we'll wait to see. And then the next week Arsenal dropped points. Then they dropped more points against Southampton. And at that, you see, when you do that, you just empower the opposition, and you are telling Manchester City that maybe this race is a bit too hot for us. And look, when Liverpool beat Man City to the title, what Liverpool had to do was, one, keep on, you see, because when you keep on winning, you tell Manchester City that you are not ready to give up. Now that puts pressure on them. So every game they play, they need to win. And the more points they drop. And I remember halfway through the season, Chris, I'm sure you remember, Pep Guardiola congratulated Liverpool and said, yeah, they've won the league. And Liverpool went on to win by 20 plus points, I believe it was. I can't seem to remember. But when you keep dropping points, you tell them that this race is hot for us. It's too hot. And whether Man City are 5 points behind, 10 points behind, they'll just look and smile and say that these guys are feeling it. And then they go and win. Because they know that there's that showdown between these two teams. When they win, they know that they don't go on top of the table. But what they've done to you is that they've dealt you a body blow. And it's very difficult. So now every game you play, you start to ask yourself, okay, let's win this one. Will somebody do us a favor? You don't need that. And I think Arsenal could have run this race a lot longer. I think they could have pushed Man City a lot further. I think that in drawing those 3 straight games, they opened the door. Each draw opened the door wider. Now Manchester City are just behind it. It's just left for them to hold the handle, open the door, and walk into the room.
Now, Coach, let me come to you. I mean, even before, I'm just picking on something the Honorable said. He said he felt that they slipped up on the league in February in that defeat to Everton. And a lot of people have forgotten. Most people think Arsenal's bad patch only started with the West Ham, Liverpool draws. They had that first bad patch. They managed to overcome it briefly, and then they got stuck in this one again. I'm sure you've been watching all these games. You've been observing Arteta's tactics over the period. What has stuck out for you the most about the decline at the most critical point of the season?
I think it has to do with the decline of Mikel Arteta himself. I think he's solely to be blamed.
You think he's responsible?
Yeah, he's absolutely responsible. Look, Ngetia, he's worked with Pep Guardiola. If there's anybody who understands Pep in that league or in this league, it should be Mikel Arteta. That is my first disappointment. And over the years, there's one thing that I have studied when it comes to Pep Guardiola. When you're going to meet Pep's team and you do what he expects you to do, he's going to beat you and beat you good.
Oh, yeah.
You mean you come springing no tactical surprise?
Yes. It is clear that the only coach who could do what Pep knew he would do and yet still beat him is Jurgen Klopp. Apart from Klopp, Thomas Tuchel, Jose Mourinho, Eric Ten Hag,
Mauricio
Pochettino, the Brentford manager. They all had to do something different. I'm a Man United fan, so I will highlight what Ten Hag did. You see, so if you are a Mikel Arteta, if you're going to be playing Man City, you should go back to the videos and clips of the teams that were able to beat Man City and look at what did Ten Hag do actually to beat Man City. So this was Ten Hag's problem. United lost the first 2 games of the season. Then all of a sudden, Casemiro came, but he didn't start any game. So it was Scott McTominay, Bruno Fernandes, and Eriksen. They gathered some run, victory, 1-1, until they went to the Etihad. When they got to the Etihad, they got beat good. 6-3. And it was in that game that Ten Hag now realized that, look, it's time to play Casemiro. So Casemiro came in, and then Scott McTominay dropped to the bench. and United again started winning. 1-1. Then Man City came to town. Pep himself admitted that there was the surprise element to the United game. What was the surprise element that day? This is what Ten Hag did. Yeah. We all thought he would play with Casemiro, Bruno, and Eriksen. Anthony on the right.
Rashford
on Jadon Sancho,
and then
Rashford on the left, and then Martial through the middle. That day, to the surprise of even we, the United fan,
brought Fred.
Anthony dropped to the bench, and then Fred was the surprise element. And Fred was given a specific instruction:
deal with KDB,
go play with Kevin De Bruyne. Pep never saw. Look, he never saw that coming. So even after the first 5 minutes, when that pattern was established, he struggled to adapt because he knew that the moment
it's not something you've planned for.
He didn't plan.
All of a sudden, you need to make an adjustment within the game.
So anybody who watched that game, United actually should have been out of sight in the first 30 minutes. United had all the chances. Man City had no shot on target in that first half. So in the second half, then he turned things around. The only time Fred went to sleep,
Man City scored.
De Bruyne was assisted, and Grealish scored. And go watch the game again. The moment that happened, Ten Hag again, he came down from the steps and he was asking Fred, "Why? What have you done? You've gone to sleep." So Fred again went back to Kevin De Bruyne, and United paid the substitutions, took control, equalized, and then went on to win the game. So Mikel Arteta, there was absolutely no reason why you should go and play only Thomas Partey as your DM. Look at the players Pep.
I was telling somebody this yesterday. He had to
there is
Rodri,
Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, the John Stones moving into midfield. That is 4. And then the Kevin De Bruyne giving the license to go anywhere.
So that's almost a 5-man midfield.
And if you watch the first goal, the first goal that City scored, Chris, I'll let you continue. I'm just highlighting the point Chris made about the deficiencies in Arsenal's midfield. If you watch the first goal, as soon as Erling Haaland dropped in to touch the ball and turn and play Kevin De Bruyne on, Partey followed the run. Then he quickly turned and realized, wait, there's De Bruyne. And then he stopped
do I track Haaland or do I track De Bruyne?
To think, what do I? By the time he took a decision, De Bruyne was gone.
Yeah, the action was over.
And City kept repeating the trick.
And I was asking myself, Arteta will war.
Because you can't expect Partey to contend with Gundogan and Rodri.
Even if Partey had a partner, it was 3v2.
Yeah.
Sometimes 4v2.
He can't do that and also still have the brain power and the strength to control the game.
It is virtually impossible. So I was asking myself, Arteta's only antidote to that was to ask Zinchenko to move into midfield.
And that meant
Bernardo
Silva for Bernardo.
And pulling Gabriel out of position, leaving only Ruhodin, who needs proper coaching and controlling throughout the game. So in my view, that was Mikel Arteta's biggest error. Look,
but I also have to admit that not having Saliba complicated the
situation. But if you didn't have Saliba,
they haven't had him for a while, so you should have planned
for
him.
What should he have done? I think that was the first game where he should have started Partey alongside Xhaka, alongside Jorginho.
We should have seen all
the 3 of them there. That would have meant that maybe he would sacrifice one of his attacking players. So like Eric Ten Hag did, he sacrificed Anthony. So Mikel Arteta should have sacrificed Gabriel Jesus, Saka, and Odegaard. I would have played Odegaard as a false number 9 and draw him back into midfield. Unless the Arsenal players match up. And I think if they had done that, the John Stones movement into midfield would have stopped.
So he needed numbers in midfield.
Yeah.
He needed
because what Man City did on the night was that they lured Arsenal into the press.
Yes.
So once they lured them into the press, they either played through, which was almost difficult, but they went long. So Pep
which
had
is something
struck-
they don't typically
Good.
do.
So that's what Chris was talking. The surprise.
And I love it, bro. Let me just highlight something you didn't mention. I saw a different part of Erling Haaland on Wednesday. Look, I think Arsenal plotted to mark Erling Haaland out of the game. Pep used Erling Haaland as an off-the-ball threat a lot more
Exactly.
to the surprise of the Gunners. So in a lot of the goals that were scored, he might not even have been directly involved in the action, but
he was always engaging somebody.
taking somebody away from the action,
and then
playing
the
a little 1-2.
There you go.
So
It-
there
it
you
was
have
just-
it. So
it was just
he knows
amazing.
Arteta knows him. So he came with so many surprises. And Arteta didn't have any surprise for him.
Surprise the man.
That's why I said he was outcoached. It was that
So at the
simple.
end of the day, it's about the surprise element that Arteta will, because and I think he's beating me all the times he's met.
Oh yeah, he's always beating.
In
him.
fact, Arteta only scored one goal at the Etihad, and that was the consolation goal scored by Rob Holding.
That has to stop.
Baby steps,
Going
baby
forward,
steps.
going forward, that cannot be the case. So look, like I said, yes, the draw against Liverpool, they could have. You can forgive them for that
because it is Liverpool.
Liverpool at
That's
Anfield.
Liverpool.
It's tough.
The draw against West Ham, I highlighted that. I think when Saka missed that penalty, even Mikel Arteta, go and see his reaction. He turned his back instead of him now more or less galvanizing
Yeah.
the boys. He went down. Go and look watch the clip again. He went down. So on is it all the time where he needed to more or less step in to galvanize, to motivate
Himself.
He was in meltdown himself.
and that man, you don't win the title like that.
We'll talk about Chelsea in a bit. Show probably brought to us by Shell Helix. Now everybody's looking for that one thing that pushes them to bring out their best and enables them to reach peak performance. Your car wants this too, and that's why your best bet is to give it Shell Helix engine oil. Lubricants mu in Koswo Hene. Shell Helix is specially designed to bring the best out of your engine, protecting it from wear and tear, while providing the power and performance needed to give you the best ride every time. So whether you are cruising on the open road or battling with busy traffic, Shell Helix will keep your engine running smoothly. Choose Shell Helix lubricants mo in Koswo Hene for the ultimate power, performance, and protection. Visit your local Shell station today and experience the difference for yourself. Betway is all about the Atenakesia jackpots. Pick 17 with only one Citi 50 pesos and you could win 16.5 million Ghana cedis. And this figure always they shock me. 16.5 million Ghana cedis. Man.
What would you do with 16.5 million CDs?
Oh,
put it in the bank. Invest it first of all.
Then you have to pay tight first.
No, let it breathe.
No, but you pay tight.
you see,
Haircut era.
No, relax. Even cool now. The investment, it comes in many forms. You can invest in gold, you can invest. But I'm saying that when you get that kind of money, first of all, you need to put it away and then breathe. Make sure that you're not losing your mind before you make any move. So that's what we'll have.
If I came into 16.5 million CDs, every 2 hours when I'm sleeping, I'll wake up and check the bank. Is it still there?
That's what I'm saying. So you heard that right. You can also play the item 13 with just one CD for 270,000 or the tapping jackpot. Only 50 pesos to win 5,000. Where your jackpot muhene into the wuhene. Deposit via Betway Top Up at any Momo vendor near you. Top Up is free of any charges. For more details, visit betway.com.gh. Let me read some of your messages that have come through so far. Richmond from Ashaiman says, good evening, Ben and team. This season, our hearts have been driven in Aboboya and Ayalolo Saa. Some of us have even gotten heart attack and heart failure. But God, being so merciful and generous, He's given us a Poch car so that we can charge 7 and get our voices back. I like that. I like that. This one's from Hot Tea Bread. Says, hi, Ben, great show. But I think what you said after Lampard was appointed has come to pass. If you could remember, you said, what if Lampard is to lose 5 games in a row and it has happened? Well, I said Lampard could possibly take the team to relegation. We said mathematically it was not possible, but it looks like...
It's not mathematics. It's more so that the team's there. They are there because they are not winning games.
Yeah. Greetings to all the last in the studio enjoying the show, okay?
Greetings to you.
George from Ayi Mensa says, Super Frankie has made me understand the popular definition of matter. Anything that has mass and can occupy space. Charlie. Moses Kofi Noy from Ablekuma says, the Russian-Ukraine war has affected Chelsea more than Ghana. Well, you are right, actually. Nifam Tesano says, Arteta is responsible. we play against Southampton, no Shaka. Instead of starting Jorginho, you bench him. Against Liverpool, you bring Tierney to defend. Instead of bringing, you rather brought him in after everything was square. So disappointed. Chef Papo says that shout outs to the Soul Tomb Steph Curry and my only Pichichi.
Oh,
I will only accept Poch if he can bring Kane. Okay? He's back again. This guy.
What is name here?
No, it'd be very serious name. Arsenal lost the league to Man City when they dropped and lost a point against teams they were supposed to win against. Relegation teams. This D for Dabe. Joshua from Pillar 2 says hi, Benketia and team. I remember Pichichi saying some time ago that Arsenal were running away with the title. I laughed, and he knew he does not really know the club called Arsenal. I knew he does not really know the club called Arsenal. They have done well, but they cracked at the wrong time. To add, what I didn't like about the match on Wednesday was that they didn't put up any fight whatsoever. Bellyman says that, Coach, please, can you explain the tactical reason behind Ten Hag's subs in the Spurs and Sevilla game respectively? Because it really baffles me how a manager can make a decision and fail and still repeat it and fail again. For me, I blame the coach for those games unless coach gives me tactical reasons. Pochettino from Dakoman says, good evening, my Panorama team. Chelsea's problem is not just the technical bench, but also the playing body, which needs a severe overhaul. Just like my Accra Hasselhoff. As for Arsenal, the less said about them, the better. They killed their own dream. Lampard from Dodoa says Chelsea's current problem should be a case study to all of us in life. Sometimes you need to be a little patient. Tuchel's rush sack is what is haunting them. As for Arsenal, I said it before the World Cup, they couldn't win the league. Arteta is humbled already after his shishi on the touchline. This one here, I think it's Exian in Bimbila. I don't know if I got that right. It says when Gary Neville said the real title starts in April and that Arsenal will collapse, Arsenal fans wanted his head. Now he has been vindicated. City are just too good. See how Haaland's game has improved. City is winning the title. Kwame Elom from Dowenya says Arteta is to blame. Charlie heartbreak since 2017 and still I can't leave Arsenal. Last season was a heartbreaking season and this season as well. Charlie, I'm downhearted. Ellie Pilim from Bubua, she says Arsenal are not title contenders but title pretenders. This one says top 4 realistically was our aim, not the league. We know we are close now. If we get depth next season, then we can win the league. Realistically, we don't have the manpower to win the league. I'll come back to a few of your messages.
Really?
Yeah. Really.
So some fans knew that.
That's why at 8 points on top, they still couldn't affirm. Let's go to the camp of Chelsea because they appear to be suffering more than Arsenal. Sam George says if he stands on top of Villaggio, he still can't see Chelsea. Nah. So Chelsea, Charlie, Lampard's record is really bad. I saw his last 19 games played. Hey,
yeah. I did the count at 17, where it was what 1-1,
1 win, 2 draws,
and
lost everything
14 losses at the time.
So right now, don't worry, the wins and draws have stayed the same.
1-1.
Well, the news is that Chelsea is close to hiring Poch, and I was just telling somebody before I came on here, Chelsea have been close to hiring Poch in the past couple of seasons. So when Lampard was first fired, he was considered for the job. Apparently, he had given his word to PSG already, and so decided to go to PSG. When Tuchel was fired, he was interviewed as part of a 2-man short list. They decided to go with Graham Potter instead of Poch. Now, with a squad size that cannot fit into the dressing room, with upheaval from the Russian-Ukraine war in terms of the sale of the club, sacking of everybody, the CEO, sporting director, and then the lack of a recognized goal scorer. Coach, let me start with you.
I just want to say something.
Yeah,
I just want to say something. A few weeks ago when there was that inside story that the Athletic wrote.
Yeah.
And I mentioned it on social. Chelsea, some were in my DM saying all kinds of despicable things. Thiago Silva granted an interview. And he said, did he not say the same thing? That the dressing room was too small, the squad was too big.
He says if a new manager comes in, he needs to address recruitment issues.
You see,
just buying
people in England who have inside info have written a piece about your favorite club, and you are in Ghana saying that it is not true. Hey. Anyway, let's continue.
Good.
Yeah.
Poch. First of all, Chelsea and Tottenham don't like each other very much. So for them to want to hire...
Do you know why they don't like each other? When Jimmy Greaves, their all-time scorer,
Yep.
that Hurricane just
Surpassed,
overtook, was starting his career and scoring goals and playing for Chelsea. Spurs were the big team at that time. They had just won the double. They say, hey, come here and win more trophies. So he left Chelsea to win trophies at Spurs. So since that day, they've hated Spurs. So that's where the animosity comes from.
Yep.
Look, Nketia, to be honest with you, it's like they are running out of options.
Charlie, they say nobody wants the job.
Yeah, that is what it is, actually. Because
Luis
Luis
Enrique
walked in, looked at the structure, and told Boehly in his face, you don't run a football club like this. You are not serious.
And then
Nagelsmann came in and said, what? The degree of disorderliness in this house is beyond measure. I will not be part of this. He also turned the offer down and left. Then the issue of Todd Boehly walking into the dressing room, addressing players.
He came and gave a speech like your good friend before Chelsea played that Champions League against Real Madrid.
If you are no, like Tokreku did at the World Cup. You take a psychologist, you behave like a psychologist. If you know you are not ready, go away from here. We are here to make Ghana proud. You don't do that. There are people meant for those jobs. Let them. They have a better way of approaching it. So Todd Boehly did that. Now see, when the news of that actually came out, look, I listened to Arsene Wenger, where he said, if you're a young coach out there and you want to sign a contract, people like him, people like Sir Alex Ferguson are there, Mourinho and Co. are there, seek advice. Do you think Todd Boehly could have walked in the dressing room if it was Jose?
Nope.
He walked him out. Come and get out. Come and get out.
You mean get out of this place?
Quick. Don't delay. Quick. Jekpo. Obuni. Jekpo.
You see? Your job is to sign checks. Sign checks.
You don't understand what is going on here. So, gradually, that was something that I know for sure will put off so many elite coaches. Then,
so you are saying that the Chelsea job is no longer attractive to top level coaches.
But even the Chelsea supporters themselves know. From the way the man is running the club, who runs a club like that? So somebody told them, go contact Mauricio Pochettino. Pochettino, at least he won the league in France. Every coach will win the league with PSG if you are in France.
Bro, some people didn't. Unai Emery did.
He took...
Unai did, so who didn't?
Everybody. All of them did it, but it's one season either they didn't win in their first season.
But they did eventually.
You understand? Pochettino took an unfancy Spurs team
to a Champions League final.
So he's got something in him.
Are you worried that he never won anything with the Spurs team?
Of course, he's not an established
winner.
That and he's walking into a team whose identity is about winning. Chelsea wants to compete. They want to be in the title race. They want to be in the Champions League. They want to be in and among the big boys, rocking shoulders with the big boys, seasons after season. Am I happy they're going for Pochettino? I say yes. Because he will have the patience to work with most of the players they've got.
He will have the patience.
Yeah,
will Mr. Boehly have the patience to allow him to work?
Boehly, if he could appoint Graham Potter and give him the time he gave him, I think Pochettino...
7 months.
Yes, I mean, no Potter no me bo modern. In Poch, I think they are going in for a manager who will have patience and work with the boys. Do I think, or would I have done that? This is what I would have done. I would have picked the call, rang somebody in Rome.
Yeah.
There's a man.
You mean you should have called the guy in Rome to come for a third time?
Like Momo.
Simple.
You think Mourinho would want to work in this environment?
No, the Todd Boehly man, he needs a figure who can look him in the face
and
tell him that, look, this is not
you are misbehaving.
American rugby, Joey.
Or basketball, you are
don't
misbehaving.
do football like that. Sit here, this is your corner. Beshi, this is your corner. Beshi, you be a name. Then, you see, he also needs to have somebody he can respect. You see, if Todd Boehly in front of Jose, he will respect him.
I get the inkling that Todd Boehly does not want to hire somebody like that.
That is the problem. That is the reason why they will suffer.
About time.
I feel like he wants to hire somebody he can dictate terms.
Because Mourinho would have walked in there, looked at the playing body, and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He will clear all of them. And no matter how much money he's given, he's paid. Come and sell him. Quick, sell this one. This is the crop of players. And even
Potter can do those things.
He can do those things.
But we heard the stories of Potter now going through third parties to ask
check how the players felt about him.
To ask what players thought of him.
And these young boys, my last word, these young boys too, who want a manager with some form of cloud.
Somebody who's been there, done that.
Somebody won things. He walks through the door.
Yeah.
Oyamoshi
What does that mean?
I don't even get that.
What is that?
I don't even get that.
I understand, God, but me say this one over me.
Oyamoshi like who born dog?
Oh. You mean I am the man here now?
That's it. You know, they talk about Zizou. How many Champions League did Real Madrid? Three straight. They had it 3 straight.
Yep.
A lot of the inside stories, the players looked at Zizou and they were in absolute awe of the man.
Yes.
The man wore the white jersey, won the trophy they had not won. He won the Champions League. And he told them, I've won this before. And that's just that clout and reputation.
That always just makes
and
a difference.
You need that.
That is what they need.
Sometimes.
Currently, that is what Chelsea needs. But because of Todd Boehly haphazard way of managing the team, they don't get that. If they can have the patience with Poch, 2-3 years, if he stays around,
he can stabilize the team.
On a lighter note, though, you see how life works. 4 years ago, if you had offered Pochettino to Chelsea fans, they would have spat him out. And they would have said, this guy, he doesn't win anything. He's a failure.
No, true.
He's a butler. Have you seen how life works?
And now they've gone through.
Now you've gone.
Now
Chelsea fans,
humble dose of Potter and Lampard.
Chelsea fans, somebody says, they've given us a Porsche car. We'll try service.
Susu Graham, let me come to you real quick. I mean, for those who have forgotten a little, like I said, 2014, 2019, he was at Tottenham, went to a Champions League final, finished as runner-up in the league, I think, once. What is Poch's style of football like? What should Chelsea fans expect, especially with the crop of players they have now? What kind of football are they likely to see under Mauricio Pochettino?
Oh, he's a modern manager in the sense he likes to press high, play quick transitions, the triangles, passing football. He's not going to play boom boom, nothing old school. It's going to be very energetic. And look, it's a young squad, and I think that's why Poch is attractive, because we've seen what he did with the young Spurs squad. And I think what Spurs, the board failed him in that they weren't willing to take the risk on certain players. But in the end, when Mourinho came, they were willing to take some risks. They were willing to go out of their comfort zone. They did the same thing for Conte in terms of buying certain types of players.
I mean, when Poch was there, they wouldn't typically break the bank to buy him.
He wasn't given that respect. And it's understandable because you look at Pochettino, what have you won? What are your achievements? If you look at that, his biggest achievement as a manager, quote unquote,
the Champions League final.
No, I'm just saying before he came to Spurs, we have been winning at the Camp Nou with Espanyol for the first time in 27 years. No, it's not to diss him because it's just the point.
I get what you mean.
Look at the pedigree of the managers we are comparing him to. So now that he's gone and he's won something at PSG. Maybe there might be a bit more respect. Okay, I'm a league title winning. I've coached Messi. Maybe there might be a bit more respect now. So hopefully that will end. When I look at Todd Boehly is not a man who's afraid to spend money. And I think that's what he needs. He needs a manager owner that will trust him. And I think I think
he never really had that with Daniel Levy.
I think Daniel Levy trusted him, but Daniel Levy
wouldn't take certain risks with him.
And I think Daniel Levy, in his desperation to win a trophy, he kind of abandoned because the coaches they went for were too pragmatic. Because Spurs are known for their lack of pragmatism. I mean, if you Google lackadaisical, the Google definitions about Spurs defense. No, it's not even a joke. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Spurs lackadaisical defense caused them 2 goals in the second half. Something like that. No, I'm not saying it to mock them. I'm just saying that is the perception of the club.
Something and that's what comes.
That's the perception of the club. So you go for and I think that's what he was trying to go against. That's why they went for Mourinho. They went for Conte. But I think there was a culture clash because the fans were not happy because that kind of style. If you're not winning games, the Spurs fans
very hard to go to the stadium to watch that kind of football.
And that's what ended up killing Conte in the end. So for me, I think if you have an owner that's willing to spend money and back your ideas, I think things can go. I think they've given him a good base of high potential players to work with. And eventually, when he sees some targets, he's like, oh, okay, maybe I want this person to come and compliment. If they trust him, I think they'll do well. And I think because there's that winning in the Chelsea DNA, trophies will come. I think even Graham Potter, even though he wasn't given their time, I think if he had been given their time, we would have seen improvements, would have seen things. Because, like we said, this 40-man squad he was trying to manage.
It's just ridiculous.
So when they sell players in the summer,
trim down the squad, know what you're doing.
Yeah, if they still have a big squad, he won't make it. Let's keep it as simple. But if he's able to trim down the squad and get it to about worst case 28, they can do something. But ideally 25, and then they can work.
Pichichi, let me have your thoughts on this Poch issue.
Well, I think Coach highlighted a very key point here about the influence of Todd Boehly in the Chelsea team, and with Pochettino coming. My bigger worry is how willing is he to back off from the Chelsea team? He's shown that Todd Boehly. Yes. How willing is he to back off?
You mean you're not sure if he will still not be making dressing room appearances?
The way he
sees
games? Football is different from the way we see football. Yeah. I think that.
Or the way football even is run generally. Because Florentino Perez does not walk into Real Madrid.
I actually don't think the interference is such a problem.
It's a problem.
I'll be very honest because look at look at AC Milan when they were so successful under Berlusconi. Berlusconi was going to the dressing room and doing those things. You see, so I don't think that.
Listen. But apparently, right? Apparently, Egbali and Boehly also have a habit of going to the training ground with the notepad.
But Abramovich used to go to the training ground. It's in Ancelotti's book that Abramovich used to appear at the training ground.
He once a while.
He appeared, but Mikel says
he also appeared
to fire Martin.
Yes. Once they said once you see Abramovich,
you see him, the manager is gone.
You know that, Charlie.
Mikel was saying that. I mean, as a direct contrast to the leadership styles, he was interviewed on a radio station in Dubai. I don't know the name specifically. He said that. Look, Abramovich, as much as they would see him at every game, watching the main game itself, when it came to training, he didn't meddle as much unless there was important info to pass on. In fact, he said that typically a sign of Roman at the ground would be his chopper. And when the chopper arrived, he was mainly coming to come and fire the manager. That's what he was coming to do. But apparently, these two Americans,
they are there every day. Yeah. That one.
They watch training.
That's the problem. See,
they are there with
no every day.
Boehly, like my good friend, Domi Tomaso.
And that's the problem here. And I was quite surprised.
Chris, don't be doing these things.
Hey, like my Domi Tomaso. Bad to do what?
You see.
Did you make your point?
And I was surprised when Lampard was asked about this interference issue, and he said he's okay with it, which clearly shows you that he's the type of manager.
Were you expecting him to say anything different?
So it tells you that this is the manager Todd Boehly wants. Now for Pochettino coming,
hiring someone, don't you want someone who do what you want?
No, that's not what Chelsea need now. They don't need a manager.
You don't need a yes man.
No.
You need somebody who can rock the boat and change it.
Todd Boehly, get out. This is not your office.
You tell someone get out, you get out.
No. See, Mourinho can do that.
I'm told
that's why they won't hire you.
That's how Tuchel got fired.
That's where they are now.
And that's why they won't hire you.
So it makes me want to understand if really Pochettino is willing to give that up. He's willing to accept this sort of interference.
He used to being bullied around.
Maybe when he started as a manager, now Poch is the. He's a big boss now.
But you see, I think that Poch's disposition, his natural disposition as a manager, is one who may not want to
It's not confrontation.
He's not confrontational.
Because even at Tottenham, there were a lot of times he had the opportunity to blast the upper brass and didn't do it.
Maybe, guys, just maybe, in all these discussions, maybe he may have put that card on the table, and maybe Boehly may have yielded a little. We can't tell.
No, he should yield all. He needs to yield all.
It will be shocking if he's not told them, or if he's not included that in his clauses.
Don't come to the dressing room.
Don't ever step there. It will be shocking.
Don't be able to.
Look, I'm sure he's listening to Wenger. Wenger said,
"Don't do that."
Into the dressing room.
I can imagine Stan Kroenke coming into Arsenal's dressing room to deliver a speech. I can imagine Florentino Perez coming to deliver a speech before a Classico. I mean, like I said, Berlusconi used to, but we all know Berlusconi is a bit eccentric.
Yeah, he's very eccentric.
But
there was success.
Yeah. So in summary, I think that at the moment, you look at the options Chelsea have. I look at the top managers at home. Zidane obviously will not take this job.
Zidane has eyes.
Who is also
French national?
Who's also home now? Who wants this job? The list is very thin. There's no Nagelsmann for them. There's no Henry Kane now. So Pochettino looks like the best option at the moment. For his qualities, he's now a winner. Before his PSG move, he claimed he was not a winner. Now he's a winner.
Yeah.
Now I think he has matured also. He's managed.
He's won at least once on one league title.
Exactly. He's one player. He's managed top talents now. Now he can say I've managed the likes of Neymar. So
I've seen what
those sort of
like
player ego and all that will not be a
Messi.
problem. But my bigger issue is how willing is Todd Boehly to go off this Chelsea team?
Let me ask you guys something real quick. You think that Poch can be a factor to bring Harry Kane to Chelsea?
Look, he and Kane do have a very good relationship.
I don't think that
would Daniel Levy want to sanction such a move?
No.
How long does Kane have left on his deal?
His contract
when
is
we reach June,
when we reach June, he'll be left with 1 year. Now,
would they risk it? Would they risk him leaving for free?
The point is,
I don't think he's signing a renewal.
I think Spurs. There are 3 levels to this. The first level is there's a financial thing, Daniel, and Daniel Levy looks at the numbers. He's a very shrewd businessman. He looks at it and says, okay, if I keep Harry Kane till next year, he goes for free. If I sell him now, I can get between 80 and 100 million.
And reinvest into the team.
And then reinvest.
But then Spurs, they get 100 million for him.
Spurs
probably closer to 80 or
probably
60.
Closer to 80. Spurs as a team are looking at Kane and saying that, okay, even if we write this season as a bad debt, we write it off as a bad debt, and they are rebuilding for next season, he's a critical part of what they want to do. So do they want to lose him? But lose him to who? Man United,
potential title rival.
Chelsea,
either which way he will go to a potential title rival.
Or they could be entertaining the idea.
Like a title rival with Spurs.
Or they could entertain the thought of maybe selling him
to Bayern Munich.
But Oliver Kahn has already ruled out the move.
He says he's too old.
And Lothar Matthäus has said him. So that's a different story.
The other bit, like 3 teams he can join: United, Chelsea, PSG.
The third part of it is Harry Kane's own decision as a player. Because some people close to him are saying that he's looking at Alan Shearer's Premier League scoring record.
And wants to do what?
And he wants to break that record as a Spurs player.
Erratic.
Possibly. So it's not as cut and dry. This is what I will say though. Any club that is interested in Harry Kane, primarily Man United, start putting your bits together. Force Daniel Levy's hand.
For me, I don't see why a team like United should go and give Spurs 100 million
and get Kane
and take Harry Kane and allow Spurs to go and use that 100 million to go and buy young strikers like the boy at Atalanta. If you give them the 100 million, they'll go and buy. Is it the Hoyland? The other
Rasmus Yeoman.
Yes, they'll go and give them the 60 million
and they'll take the player.
3 years, 4 years from
You'll
now,
be selling him
Harry Kane or Duarte, Egbo.
But are you not telling me that? Are you also not saying that? Kane can give you 3 elite seasons?
We don't want that. When there's Osimhen and Paul,
anyway, so guys, so like I said, so those are very critical questions for Daniel Levy to answer as the season comes to an end and what they will do. Because all of a sudden, if Pochettino goes to Chelsea, whether you like it or not, Kane might look at the project and say, this might look enticing. And Poch will make overtures. Because you look at Chelsea now, what is the biggest thing they lack? A scorer.
Lukaku.
Number 9.
Oh,
I think with Pochettino coming,
yeah,
if Pochettino is willing to talk to him and give him another chance, I think he can do very well for Chelsea.
I think Chelsea should take I'm taking Lukaku back if I'm a Chelsea manager. I love Lukaku as a player. If he's put
with
that
the level
pressure,
of creativity they have, if they put Lukaku there,
he'll score.
Never will go arm anymore.
Well said. So that's the word on Pod so far. I was hoping I could see some Chelsea opinions on this. Let's talk about some possible transfer-related activity. Assorted beats for my Simon. The heart attack is too much. An Arsenal fan dropped his children in his office and went to school himself. Too hard. Charlie, stop misbehaving.
He dropped the
children at the office and he went to the school. Charlie, the guy is misbehaving. Farouk headliner says, what happened to Chelsea appointing Enrique? Enrique said you don't like the job.
Yeah, Enrique turned down.
Onga
He walked
from
away.
Medina says, good evening, citizens. I think the title chase is over for my darling club and Hearts of Folk. I blame Coach Nikpako Arteta for that. Yes, from Kweku from La Paz says, Arsenal cannot win the title this season. Gideon at Community 25 says, Arsenal will win the league. Mazi Ikena, listening from East Legon, says, Arsenal has finally done it. Man City is the league champion. Okay. Tony says, I hope you are all well. We are. Says, guys, I watched Chelsea in match. On God, Messi and Ronaldo in their prime, no fear help them. This one here from Senior Mampam.
You mean HR7?
Yeah, Charlie. You see, yesterday my ladies too were kicked out of the Champions League, but no, you are still Chelsea ladies all the way. Saleh Herman Edem from Cove Town says, big ups to you guys doing a good job. In fact, for Arsenal, I don't think they know the meaning of the word serious. If you really know, if you really did, they would have exhibited such features in their last game. Kwame from Santa Maria says, we saw Leicester win the league. I don't want to hear anything about Arsenal overachieving. Where was Leicester's squad depth? You've had a season where most of the top 6 have not been performing. Even City have had an off-color season till recently. If they don't win anything, the season is an abject failure. Period. Yeah, I agree with you. Arsenal have had chances to have given City a 12 point gap.
Liverpool will not be this bad.
I'm telling you, Chelsea will not be this bad.
United will get even better.
Man City.
Don't worry.
Don't worry, they'll still be back in it.
Well,
Yeah, but look, if you look at what I think this season will fire Arsenal up. I'm sure they've seen their shot.
Enter into the market again.
They will add to the squad.
If you say Leicester didn't have any manager on Pep Guardiola's level when they were there. If Pep was there, do you think they can win the league with the small points they got?
Well, there's that as well. Let's talk about Joseph Pinto real quick because the Telegraph was reporting midweek that Brentford, Brighton, Fulham
that was the last one.
Are in for Joseph Pinto. Now, it's 14 goals, 14 assists this season. Double, as we would say in basketball. The numbers look nice.
Brentford,
Brighton, Fulham.
Those
don't
are
call me or no, don't call me.
I would say I don't like Brighton. I think there's a lot of competition. I think I want him to go somewhere where I'm sure he will play.
Yes.
For sure. Because I think
Brighton have too many people.
Too
even
many
not,
similar type players. And Karu Mitoma.
Adingra.
And Siso Adingra.
There's a lot of, they have a lot of young attacking midfield. It would be
too much competition.
When you get in the competition, but when I look at Fulham, they are relying a lot on Willian.
Old guy.
And Cordova Reed. I think Joseph Pinto can come in and start making an impact very soon. I look at Brentford, they bought wingers. It's not worked out. That's why they can't even switch from their 3-5 to if he goes there and he hits the ground running, he's automatically a starter. So when I look at that, one of those two teams for me.
As for the Brighton, when I completely agree with you. So I feel that they've got too many fluid type players. Yeah. Assuming they didn't have anybody to replace Trossard, then I would have said great. But even after Trossard left, they had Karu Mitoma, who's delivering. You know, they've still got Gross and Siso. You have a lot of players like him. So, you know, I think Brentford, Fulham, he should look at those options.
I have a dissenting view. I don't think he should go to Brentford. I think Brighton.
You like the Premier League connection?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's good. It's great.
And I like the Brighton or Fulham. Why do
you don't like Brentford? So Brentford out.
The style of football will not favor him at all.
But what if they may be thinking of exploring another way of playing.
But this manager is an old-fashioned British.
Thomas Frank.
Yeah,
he's actually what, German? Right?
German.
He's
Danish.
Danish.
He's
He's
Danish.
Danish,
He will not change from that. I'm looking at Brighton and the sort of the coaching he will be under. I think De Zerbi,
the top guy.
if he comes for you and he makes you his signing, he has
a
a
plan
role
for you
in the team. I think that, yes, they've got Mitoma, they've got Sulemaj. These are the only two natural wingers they've got in their team.
That's what Adingra is coming back from.
Dingra,
Yeah, so-
the Ivorian, the guy who played for Right to Dream, right?
Yeah, but
Yes,
he's
like
not
the Right to Dream.
a natural winger. And if you've got Mitoma and Sulemaj, I think Joseph Pencil
should play.
Should get together.
Let me ask you this: you think it's with the statistics he's coming in with, he has to fight for a place, or he walks into the team?
I think it would be very unfair on his part to believe that he just walked into anything.
And look at Dennis.
Has to be ready to fight.
I want to make a point. Dennis Under scored 27 goals in Belgium. He's come to the Premier League.
And he's on the bench.
And he's struggling.
No, but he was playing as a striker.
No, but I'm just saying that
Yeah.
you
I
are seeing
understand.
that
I understand.
moving from Belgium to the Premier League is not easy.
Exactly. So he should be ready.
You have to be
I
ready to
think-
fight for a
And
place.
then if he cannot get the Brighton move, he can get the
Fulham move.
The Fulham and that's.
I think he would have
Marcel
more
Silva.
opportunities at Fulham.
That-
Because
that's
Fulham,
the point.
Fulham really lack.
Is
They
it-
lack
so-
quality.
I don't disagree
really
with Coach
looking
on
at
the
the style of
Brentford
football.
point. But I don't disagree with him on the style point. That the style might be a problem.
Yeah.
But I think because they don't have too many wingers, and it seems that they are trying to change their style. There's
that's why-
almost a short guaranteed minutes.
you play.
That's why I
You
like
see,
it.
he'll be required to do lots of defending. if he's playing with Brighton.
And he's
That's
very
gonna-
athletic. That-
and
it
that's
doesn't
gonna
work
take
for him.
away
Yeah.
His forward.
That's-
play.
I also just want to
Fair
point out
fair
that
point.
Dortmund, who I said we didn't trust, they have already gone to draw this weekend. They started their weekend off ball. They are on their way to a draw. It's in the 97th minute. It's 1-1. So maybe they can turn it around, but they're on their way to a draw.
Oh, Borussia Dortmund, man. Well, I'll see if I can read a few more messages, but I'll take a few shout-outs here, and then we'll
Yeah.
bring the show
No,
to an end. Coach!
My shout out is with Sheikh Atani.
Oh, man. Charlie, he's delaying your Jalabia celebration.
No, it is
oh.
the Glazers who are delaying.
Are you sure they will sell this
No
team?
more Agbena Omo.
Hey, coach, you've been Agbenaing for the last 4-5 weeks.
Look,
eh?
first bid, second bid,
Third bid.
final and third.
Remember, the third bid was not even in the plan in the
Yes,
beginning.
the fan. You see, the Glazers will go. That's Jim Manager Radcliffe. You don't have money. Then now you are proposing that you buy 50% for the Glazers to stay. The news coming in that Sheikh is going to put his bid in about in the next 30 minutes to 1 hour. He's not we. I mean, let me say we, because already some of us sit on the board. We are not going to give the Glazers 6 billion. We'll give them something in the region of 5-point-something billion.
Oh, Charlie.
That is 100% takeover. Take the check.
You mean you write off the debt too?
The moment they agree, the following day before lunchtime, the check
No, but
is
coach,
signed.
you see, I'm
Then
worried
two.
for you because you have very grandiose plans for this summer.
No,
You've been talking about Osimhen.
I'm telling you that there is a marquee signing. Marquee.
Okay, look, guys, this is it.
And you know the funny thing about this
if United's
takeover?
ownership changes, their transfer plans will change because there's a likelihood that there will be more money. What the Glazers have now in their hand is there's a revolving £300 million credit line they got from a bank in the US. That line says that in the off season, United will get at least 300 million to buy, and that's locked down. That's what they will use to try and buy
Revamp the
players,
team.
revamp the team. So those are the two
Charlie,
dynamics.
people hold 300
But
million
you
to
see-
revamp
No,
team.
but I'm a winner. Another 5 billion. 2 billion to change Old Trafford into a modern stadium. 1 billion to clear the debt. Ten Hag has 1 billion in his
Buy
account
everybody.
to buy this summer, the following summer, the next summer. Then 1 billion for now to invest in the city of Manchester.
Charlie, that is some
Around-
comprehensive, rosy picture. This guy is crazy.
I'm telling you what the mood is. So therefore,
and 500 million for media relations.
so therefore,
kidding.
very soon, Coach Nimley will trend as number 1.
Because
and
you
my
predicted
trending
it. Yeah.
will be such massively massive that you need to watch scorecard to see the commencement of the trending.
Oh,
The
Charlie.
moment Sheikh Jassim Atani bid is accepted, don't miss scorecard.
Thank you. This one he has told you ahead of time. Don't say he didn't do anything for you. Susu, close out for us.
Oh, man, I just want to give a shout out to our listeners. Keep listening. We love you.
Thank you very much. And like I said, you can check out that statistical preview there. It's a little old, but it gives you some perspective about everything that happened. So yes, thank you very much, Coach. Thank you.
I just want to give a shout out to Accra Academy 2004 year group.
Yeah.
The
Is
WhatsApp.
that when you finished?
Yeah, 2004. That's when I finished.
Was he serious?
I finished school in 2015.
Oh, Charlie.
So I want to give a shout out to the guys on the page, the Arsenal fans and the Man United fans who can't stop doing banter all day, all night. Guys, keep it up. Shout outs to Gabriel Dake, aka Bomo, and all the guys on the page. Guys, have a super weekend and keep it going.
Nice one there. Thank you, Nathan. So you had Nathan Kwao, you had Evans Ofochu, Mansu Pichichi, Susu Graham, and Coach Christopher Nimley. Thank you very much for the messages you sent. The show proudly brought to us by Betway, Good Day Energy Drink, and Shell Helix. My name is Benjamin Inketia. Show streamed on YouTube. We'll have it up for you on SoundCloud very soon. The Premier League preview show comes up right after this. Before I go, I want to say a big shout out, big blessings to Francis and Joycelyn Honu. Got married last week. God bless your union, bro. Thank you out there for doing the listening. Like I said, the show will be up on SoundCloud. Enjoy the Premier League preview show.